On a summer morning in 2024, Shelley Duvall quietly passed away in her small Texas home. Those wide, captivating eyes that once enchanted Hollywood now closed forever. The star of The Shining, who brought radiant smiles through Faerie Tale Theatre, had vanished from the spotlight nearly 30 years earlier. As if fleeing an invisible shadow, her talent shone brightly. Her smile warmed hearts, but Shelley hid a deep pain. A clump of hair fell out on the Shining set. An anonymous letter arrived in Texas, scrawled with, "Hollywood hasn't forgotten you," a painting of the Overlook Hotel, scribbled with, "Don't come back. What made this Texas girl, who once painted dreams with lipstick, choose silence? Did Hollywood break her spirit, or did a buried secret pull her away?" Stay with me to explore the tragic story of Shelley Duvall, a radiant star, standing alone on an empty stage when the lights went out. Chapter 1. A hopeful journey to Hollywood. Before Hollywood knew Shelley Duvall, a little girl in Houston, Texas, startled her mother by locking herself in her room all day, laughing and drawing on walls with bright red lipstick. "Shelley, you're a real manic mouse," her mother exclaimed, shaking her head at her daughter's wide eyes and unpredictable smile. Little did she know. That nickname was like a foreshadowing, a hint of the storms awaiting Shelley's life. Shelley Alexis Duvall was born on July 7th, 1949, in Fort Worth, Texas, into a middle-class family. Her father, Robert, was a stern lawyer. Her mother, Bobby Ruth, a real estate broker with a constant smile. The family moved often, living in hotels before settling in Houston. There, Shelley ran through the house, knocking over vases, flying kites under blue skies, and painting vibrant pictures. An old friend recalled Shelley once sobbing when she heard a door unlock, not from fear, but because it reminded her of the forbidden room on the second floor. No one pressed further, but that story cast a shadow over her colorful childhood. Shelley dreamed of becoming a scientist, enrolling in South Texas Junior College to study nutrition, hoping to unravel life's mysteries. But one day in biology class, watching a monkey dissected, her sensitive heart shattered. She dropped out, sold cosmetics, using her big eyes and smile as a model. Life seemed set for a quiet path until 1970, when she hosted an art sale party for her fiancé, Bernard Sampson. Under the party's dim lights, 3 members of Robert Altman's film crew appeared. They ignored the paintings, captivated by Shelley, a girl with bursting energy and eyes holding an untold story. One crew member whispered, "She's like a dream breaking apart that no one notices." Altman and producer Lou Adler invited Shelley to meet an art patron. But Altman didn't choose her for talent, he told Adler. "There's something in her eyes, like she's seen something and tried to forget." After one Polaroid, Shelley stepped into Hollywood, untrained but full of hope. She stood under stage lights, heart racing, unaware the door she'd opened led to both paradise and peril. Shelley entered Hollywood with eyes wide in wonder. But did anyone wonder, were those eyes sparkling with dreams, or trembling with fear of a door that could never close? Was this joyful Texas girl ready for Hollywood's glamour? Or had childhood mysteries planted seeds for the tragedy leading to her death? Chapter 2. Career success tinged with shame at the 1977 premiere of 3 Women. Shelley Duvall stood quietly in a corner, her wide eyes glinting under chandeliers. A critic whispered to a friend, "She's not an actress. She's a mystery in a dress." They might have been right. Shelley, with a trembling smile and slight frame, conquered Hollywood, but behind the glamour, a cold shadow lurked, ready to swallow the Texas girl whole. Shelley became Robert Altman's muse, starring in McCabe and Mrs. Miller 1971, Nashville 1975, and The Pinnacle, 3 Women 1977, in 3 Women. She wrote her character's diary and decorated sets, earning Best Actress at Cannes. Andrew Sarris of Village Voice called her the modern Katharine Hepburn, Roger Ebert wrote. Shelley Duvall is like rare porcelain, shimmering beyond compare. But that spotlight couldn't hide her heartache. Since grade school, kids mocked her as olive oil for her lanky frame. That wound followed her to Hollywood, where harsh critics said she wasn't glamorous enough by standards. A rumor on Reddit told of an anonymous letter from a small production company, urging her to change her appearance for bigger lead roles. No one knew the sender. When Shelley investigated, the company's office had been closed for years. Police called it a prank, but Shelley wasn't sure. She kept the letter, a reminder of invisible judgments. After 3 women's success, a major studio offered Shelley a starring role in a blockbuster. She was thrilled, feeling recognized at last. But 3 days later, the offer was withdrawn for vague reasons, a change in direction. Her agent told Cosmopolitan in 1981 about an anonymous call beforehand, a cold voice saying, "She's not right." Shelley began wondering if someone was pushing her off the stage. Each time she faced a camera, she felt judging eyes, as if the world scrutinized her every feature. Shame crept in, making her question her place in Hollywood. Her marriage to Bernard Sampson ended in 1974, when her spotlight outshone their simple dreams. Shelley tried acting classes at the Actors Studio in New York, but quit, feeling they stifled her natural spark. A friend said she often sat alone after shoots, eyes sad, wondering if she deserved her fame. Hollywood in the 1970s, with its harsh standards for women's looks, made Shelley feel like a bird in a gilded cage, her wings clipped by judgment. Did those harsh judgments and mysteries like that anonymous letter crack the foundation leading to Shelley's tragic end? Or was a hidden force quietly manipulating her path? Chapter 3: The Shining and the Real Nightmare Behind It. Under the cold lights of The Shining's 1980 set, Shelley Duvall stepped into a nightmare she'd never forget. As Wendy Torrance, she faced Jack Nicholson in terrifying scenes, his crazed eyes seeming to consume her. But the real darkness came not from Nicholson, but from Stanley Kubrick, the director with icy eyes and unrelenting ambition. Kubrick demanded Shelley cry 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, for 9 months. The baseball bat scene was shot 127 times, a world record, leaving her hands torn, blood seeping through bandages. One day, Shelley approached with a clump of tangled hair in her palm, no tears, no words, just silently placing it before Kubrick. It was as if she offered proof of her soul, crushed under the stage lights. Jack Nicholson said Kubrick berated Shelley more than anyone, even barring the crew from comforting her to keep her in despair. An assistant director revealed that after each scene, Shelley muttered something inaudible she wouldn't meet anyone's eyes, as if hiding a wound that wouldn't heal. Some Quora posts accused Kubrick of mental torture to extract authentic performances. A crew member said Shelley collapsed after a scene, tears mixing with sweat. But Kubrick shouted, "Do it again yet," in a 2021 People interview. Shelley called Kubrick warm and friendly. Her words left many wondering, was she protecting him or soothing a memory that kept her awake for nearly 40 years? Shelley's pain didn't end on set. Her role as Wendy Torrance was panned, even earning a Razzie nomination for Worst Actress, a dagger to her already bleeding heart. Though the nomination was later retracted, Shelley felt the world's judgment. A friend recalled her saying, "I felt like a puppet on strings, but no one cared how tight they pulled." Hollywood in the 1980s, with its perfectionist culture and prying eyes, turned Shelley's dream into a nightmare. A Quora theory suggested this pressure sowed seeds for later mental health struggles, though no one could say The Shining was the sole cause. One thing was clear: that set left scars Shelley never healed. Did The Shining's scars ignite Shelley's retreat from Hollywood? Or was another mystery lurking behind those eyes she wouldn't meet? Chapter 4: Career Success couldn't mend the breaks each morning. Shelley Duvall walked into her small production office, carrying a cold cup of tea and an odd habit checking the bottom drawer, where she kept an unreleased tape reel. In the quiet room, only the clocks ticking, and Shelley's distant gaze suggested she was searching for a lost memory. After The Shining's nightmare, she tried to rebuild through producing, but self-blame's shadow began to cling, gripping her soul. Shelley founded Platypus Productions and Think Entertainment, creating Faerie Tale Theatre 1982 to 1987, a children's show that enchanted millions. "Hello, I'm Shelley Duvall," she said in each episode, her smile like sunlight through a storm. Featuring Robin Williams and Christopher Reeve, the show won a Peabody Award and 2 Emmy nominations, proving Shelley was not just an actress but a brilliant creator. Yet behind the glamour, loneliness and self-blame gnawed at her. Her marriage to Bernard Sampson ended in 1974, when her spotlight outshone their quiet dreams. Her romance with Paul Simon from 1976 to 1978 led her to turn down a role in Robert Altman's film, straining the friendship with the man who brought her to Hollywood. A Reddit rumor claimed Simon wrote an unreleased song about Shelley, not a love song, but an apology, or a warning, per a close friend's 1981 Cosmopolitan account. In 1983, something strange happened. Shelley canceled all appointments for 2 weeks, no explanation given. When she returned, she was quieter, her eyes pensive. No one knew where she'd gone or what she'd done, but she never worked with Altman again, as if a door had closed forever. A friend said Shelley often sat alone after Faerie Tale Theatre shoots, eyes sad, questioning her path. Hollywood in the 1980s, with its pressure to be perfect, made her feel like a failure, even at her career's peak. Did Shelley blame herself for her choices or for something she'd done, seen, or kept secret until her end? Perhaps a piece of memory still lay in that bottom drawer. Chapter 5. Fragile Happiness, a Reclusive Life in Texas, under Blanco, Texas's vast blue sky. Shelley Duvall sought escape from Hollywood's glare. In her cluttered little house, old paintings hung crookedly, and wind whistled through windows like haunting whispers. She lived with her partner Dan Gilroy in a menagerie of pets. A neighbor said Shelley's home was filled with pillows stacked around windows as if she feared something outside watching. She often sat in her old Toyota 4Runner, humming tunes only she knew, as if clinging to a flicker of past light, after the 1994 Northridge earthquake and her brother's spinal cancer. Shelley left Hollywood, chasing fragile happiness. But darkness quietly followed. In 2016, Shelley appeared on Dr. Phil, revealing bipolar disorder. She claimed Robin Williams was alive and shape-shifting, said an alien implant was in her leg, and feared the sheriff of Nottingham. As cameras zoomed in, she whispered, "They'll take everything, even my memories." Her words shocked viewers, and fans were outraged, accusing the show of exploiting a vulnerable star. Vivian Kubrick, Stanley's daughter, defended her. Shelley's suffered enough. A Reddit post said Shelley received an anonymous letter in Texas, reading, "Hollywood hasn't forgotten you." No one knew the sender, but Shelley began peering out windows at night, as if waiting or fearing someone. A friend said Shelley collapsed after filming Time Bandits in 1981, but refused a doctor, as if scared they'd see something they shouldn't. Some on Quora speculated a head injury or an unrevealed family secret explained her odd Dr. Phil statements. Though reclusive, Shelley took pride in her career. Director Lee Unkrich, meeting her for a book on The Shining, said she recalled every Hollywood detail, but her eyes held deep sadness. Each mention of The Shining seemed to pull her back to the Overlook Hotel's halls. Hollywood in the 2010s, with its stigma around mental health, made her feel abandoned, a forgotten star in the dark. Was Shelley's reclusive life truly an escape from Hollywood? Or were those pillows an anonymous letter hiding a secret tied to her tragic end? Chapter 6. Final Despair, a Tragic Death under Texas's blazing red sunset. Shelley Duvall entered her final days with a faint spark of hope in 2022. She returned to acting in The Forest Hills 2023, an indie horror film. In a February 2023 People interview, she said, "Acting again was so much fun. It enriches your life." But her health was failing. In her cramped Blanco, Texas home, dusty old paintings and a small mirror sat on a table. She never looked in it, as if afraid of her reflection. Diabetes-related leg wounds made walking hard, so she sat in her Toyota 4Runner, murmuring sad melodies. On July 11, 2024, just 3 days after her 75th birthday, Shelley died from diabetes complications. In Dan Gilroy's arms, he said, choking back tears. She suffered so much. Now she's free. But her death sparked theories. Diabetes was listed on her death certificate, but a nurse who cared for Shelley said she mumbled in her sleep. "It's not illness, it's the curse. Awake." She repeated it, eyes panicked, as if believing an invisible force pursued her. A fan who met her at a grocery store said Shelley claimed, "I have to finish it before they find me." No one knew what it was. An ex-user said Shelley left a strange painting in her home, an Overlook Hotel sketch from The Shining, scrawled with, "Don't come back." Shelley's despair wasn't just from illness. She told a neighbor she felt forgotten by Hollywood, like a star snuffed out before a final shine, in her final room. No one found the diary she claimed held everything you need to know about why I disappeared. Some on Quora and Reddit suggested untreated mental health issues, The Shining's pressures, and Hollywood's isolation weakened her body. Was the curse Shelley mentioned tied to a family secret, or just an obsession from the Overlook's halls? Was Shelley's death merely illness? Or do the missing diary and Overlook painting hold the truth about a curse behind her tragic end? Epilogue. The legacy of an unfading star, Shelley Duvall, is gone, but her light still flickers in fans' hearts. 4 of her films, McCabe and Mrs. Miller, Nashville, Annie Hall, and The Shining, are preserved in the National Film Registry, a testament to her timeless talent. Faerie Tale Theatre, with her "Hello, I'm Shelley Duvall" greeting, lives on in the memories of 1980s kids, rediscovered by Gen Z on TikTok. In 2020, she was honored at the Texas Film Hall of Fame, where Dazed called her the queen of quirky beauty. But Shelley's legacy isn't just films or awards. It's the story of a woman battling inner demons, from stage lights to lonely shadows. Shelley's life is a lesson in fame's cost. Hollywood in the 1970s and 80s, with its harsh beauty standards and mental health stigma, made her a victim of her own glamour, the pressures of The Shining, the judgment after Dr. Phil, and her final isolation reveal a painful truth: even the brightest stars can be forgotten. The unpublished diary she mentioned, some say Dan Gilroy keeps it as a final relic. Others say it's gone. In an unreleased recording, Shelley said, "I'm not Wendy, but I'm not Shelley anymore either." Those words, like a final puzzle piece, make us wonder what really happened. Her 2024 death, listed as diabetes, leaves unanswered questions. Did The Shining's pressures seed her mental health struggles, or did whispers of a head injury or family secret push her into darkness? Shelley's story reminds us that behind every star is a person, with pains unseen. Was there an event, a memory, that made Shelley choose silence over fighting? And if so, should we know that truth? Share your thoughts in the comments. And let's honor a star who never fades. Was there an event, a memory, that made Shelley choose silence over fighting? And if so, should we know that truth?